Welcome to Uncle's Channel. Thanks for watching today, and let's continue our journey to finish every single Game Boy Color game. And today we're focusing on a game called Penguin Wars for the original Game Boy. Now, I had never heard of this game before. I had never even seen a game like it before. The best way I can describe it is like a tabletop dodgeball to a degree, and it's a really fun, little charming multiplayer game. Obviously, you can play it single player as well, which is I did for the challenge here to complete the game. But I can only imagine how fun this would be if you actually had the link cable and did it that way. Now, the game has been since re-released on Nintendo Switch, and so if you're interested in this particular game, you can play an updated version on the Switch. I haven't played that version, but if it's anything like this game, I can imagine it being pretty darn fun. But let's go ahead and dive into Penguin Wars for the Game Boy. Now, I always like to start the videos up by looking at the box art for the game first, and the box art for Penguin Wars pretty much sums it up perfectly, because as you're playing through the game, you have 5 animals that you can choose from: the penguin, the bat, the rat, the cow, and the rabbit, and each of them is going to have their own individual powers as far as like how fast they throw the ball, how powerful they throw a ball across the table, such as that. But on the cover here, of course, you got all 5 of the main animals. You know, the penguin right there in the center, you know, throwing it at the rat. And I don't know why they call it like Animal Wars, because the penguin is not really like a main character in the game, but regardless, doesn't matter. And you have a little gopher in the upper left hand corner. He's gonna be like an obstacle on the table itself. Great cover. I think it sums the game up really well, except for the cow in the background. And the cow in the actual game is a very plump, very cute little cow. And this one looks more like a 90s cow off like Ren and Stimpy or something. I don't know, it just doesn't really match up with what the game says. That's a very, very minor complaint for the cover. Now when you start the actual game up here, it's got a pretty charming little intro. It has a little penguin running back and forth across the screen. Pretty frantic looking. The company that produced the game is coming down, sort of almost about to ready to squish him. And he runs off to the side of the screen, and then the title screen pops up. And the penguin's looking pretty jolly here. And you have 2 options. You have 1 player or 2 player. And 1 player is what we're going to do in order to finish this game for the challenge. But 2 player would be if you had like a link cable and you wanted to actually battle someone else on their Game Boy. And honestly, that's probably where the most replay value is going to come from this game. But the single player mode is going to be fun in its own right, so let's go ahead and get into that. Now when you start up, you have 5 characters you can choose from, like I mentioned earlier. There's the penguin, there's the bat, the rabbit, the rat, and the cow. And each one's going to have its own individual powers, like as far as like, you know, how fast it can throw the ball across the table, how powerful the ball is going to fly across the table, how long their recovery time is. Everyone's going to have their own little individual stats here. It's not shown on the screen, and that'd be sort of nice if they did that, but something that you're just going to have to discover as you go. Now, when it came to like who I'm going to pick for the game, I thought about the penguin because the game's called Penguin Wars. You know, I want to go with the true natural experience, but also like it's October, it's almost Halloween, so I was like, you know what, let's go with the bat. And so the bat's going to be my character for this playthrough. Now the first enemy I'm going to go against is going to be the rabbit, and I love how they call them adversaries instead of enemies. I don't know, it just adds like an extra little I don't know, uniqueness to the game. But the rabbit here, he's hopping up and down. He's a very plump little rabbit, very adorable. And then when you start the game up here, it's very simple graphics. You're on the front side of the table, or table closest to you. The rabbit's on the other side of the table, and you each have these little bowling ball looking things in front of you. And your whole goal here is just simply to throw the balls across the table, and at the close of the 60 seconds, whoever has the least amount of balls on their side is the winner of that particular round. However, there's a lot of strategy involved in this. If you can get all 10 balls at one time on their side, you automatically win the match. Or you can knock them out, which allows them to be stunned for a little while, and you can throw more balls over there while they can't throw them back at you. Or you can just simply ricochet their balls as they're trying to throw them across the table. And I know it sounds like it's a pretty simple game still, but there's a lot of strategy involved in as far as like, you know, when to knock them out, when to throw certain balls across the table, which ones to ricochet. And also at the 30-second mark, a little mole or a little obstacle appears in the center of the table, which is not going to benefit either party. It's just simply going to make the game a little bit harder for each side. And that way there's more likely to be a clear winner at the close of the time instead of a draw. And so I know the game looks like really simple here, but it really is a fairly chaotic and frantic good time as you're playing through it. Now as far as like the individual battles against the rabbit himself here, it's best 2 out of 3. The first one I won by time. I had more balls on his side than my side at the close of 60 seconds. Second one was a draw, and the third one was actually able to get all 10 of the balls across the screen onto his side of the table and win the match. Pretty much a flawless victory, one might say. And then after the rabbit, you're going to go to your second adversary, who's going to be the cow. And the cow is going to be an extraordinarily powerful enemy, but very, very slow. And so like when he throws the ball across the table and it hits you and knocks you out, you're going to be knocked out for a prolonged period of time, which allows him to get more balls across the table while you're knocked out. However, my character, being the bat, is way, way faster. So the first round, I dominated by simply going back and forth as fast as possible, get all the balls across the screen. Second round, he dominated against me, 10-0, by simply knocking me out. And then the third round, I got back to my old strategy of just simply avoiding his hits and still dominated the match. And so the cow wasn't that bad once you understood just how powerful his shots were going to be and knock you out, and to make sure to avoid those. Now the third round is going to be against the penguin, and you'd think the penguin would be like one of the best ones in the entire game since the game is titled after him. However, the penguin was very, very slow, and my character, being the bat, was pretty darn fast. And I just simply dominated the penguin with no challenge at all. And so I really don't even know what his special power was, just simply because the battles were over so quickly. Now the last match is going to be against the rat, and the rat's actually going to give me a run for my money here, because the rat is actually faster than even my bat here. And so for the first time in the entire game, I'm having a challenge as far as like who can get the balls across the table the fastest. But I actually really enjoyed the little rat animation, because he actually can't see over the edge of the table, so all you see is a little tail, and he grabs the balls with his tail and throws them across. I don't know, it's just charming. The game has a lot of charm about it, and having the animals in there, each with their own powers and little animations, I don't know, it does go a long ways. Now after defeat the rat, we get a little trophy scene here, of course, you know, where I've won first place, so I'm at the top of the little podiums, and that's the close of the game. You've beaten the game. It's a very short game. And after you finish the game up here, credits are never going to roll, because it's going to be a never-ending game. You can go back into it with another round and go through all of the enemies once again. And they actually get a few extra little powers here. They can charge up a shot, you know, throw it across the table, hit you, because they're trying to, you know, prevent you from getting a high score here. So it's going to get harder as you progress. And so they have that charge shot. I also get some bonus rounds inside the New Game Plus. I'm not sure if you can get those in the regular game or not, but the bonus round is just simply, you know, how many balls you can throw down the screen in one little go here. I think the faster character you have, the better you're going to do on the bonus rounds, so the rat is probably the best for the bonus rounds. But after going through the game a few times, trying to get a high score here, realizing the credits were never going to roll, it's a never-ending game, and since we did win first place multiple times inside the actual game itself, I decided this is considered the finishing of Penguin Wars. And I did look online, see if there's any way to get the credits to roll, and there's not. This is considered the ending of the game when you win first place. So how is this game as an overall? Personally, I actually think it's a lot of fun. I think it's a very simple game. It's a very charming game, very frantic game. I think it's more fun if you could play with someone else, and the game allows for that. I just simply didn't have anyone to play this particular game with. But even like the one-player mode, it's still fun to go through here, try to get a high score, and just sort of see what this game actually has to offer. And personally, like if the game ever goes on sale on the Nintendo Switch, I'll probably pick it up, just simply because I like to see what they update inside the game and see how different it is from the original one that's come out here. And also the Switch would be easier to play against people on than try to get the Game Boy link cable and all that. That's just a whole different issue on trying to get all that going here. But if the game didn't have like the animals in it and didn't have the charm in it, it would still be a fun game on its own as far as like tabletop dodgeball. But I really do think the animals and, you know, different abilities, it just takes it to another level and allows the game to have, I don't know, more of a personality to it. And I do like that. I'd probably give Penguin Wars, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd probably give it a 6. I mean, it's a unique game. I never played one like it, and I could see myself wanting to play the newer version of it, so it's pulled me in a good bit. The music inside the game is probably one of the only drawbacks. There's only like one really good song in the game, and that's when you actually get the trophy scene here. That's the best song. All the other songs are fairly forgettable, but I'd say a solid 6. I mean, I almost want to say 7, just simply because it's a unique game that I never played a game like it, and it is charming. But I don't know, for most players out there, I'd say a solid 6 would be fine for as far as the ranking goes. But if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Check out my other videos listed up above. And is there a Game Boy game that you want to see me cover sooner or later? Let me know the name of that game in the comments down below. And as always, go out there, find a great game to play. Simply have a great rest of the day.